So today we're going to be working on a sweater that is already completed. You haven't seen me in about a month and a half because I have been moving and Christmas and sickness. I'm better now. It was just a cold. But I just wanted to do a quick little workshop for pre-existing knits that you might have done and your body's changed, or you make it for someone else and it's not quite just right, or if you find something in a thrift store and it's hand knit and you want to alter it yourself. So today we're going to be working on my dad's Christmas present. I knit him an Aran Galway sweater with Fisherman wool, and this is from Galway, Ireland. Problem is though, sweater looks beautiful, but the sides are not quite right. It needs to come in and taper a little bit more at the hips. This is my dad. We are going to be working on a quick little workshop project today. We are going to be doing his Christmas sweater. Now I've made you Christmas sweaters for the last 4 years.
4 years.
And basically what we're doing today is we are altering the most recent one, which is the only Fisherman sweater I've made him. All of the sweaters I've made you previously are worked in the round and also color worked. This one is a cabled sweater. Such a fun time today because we are going to be altering it. We are going to be taking it in at the hips, and so I'm going to just show you a few ideas on how you can do that. What are the limitations, and if you're comfortable, how to cut your knitting. Maybe we don't do that.
We're gonna cut the knitting.
We're not cutting the knitting. We might cut the knitting. All right. So, Dad, beautiful model. Yes, work it. So this is the sweater, and what you can see is it fits really nicely. It took, God, so long. Still got a few ends to weave in. What do you think of it?
It's awesome and very warm.
Yeah, we are very warm in this new place. We've got lovely new big windows in my new apartment, which is very, very hot, we've learned. But he's bearing with it for me. So what we can see is right at the hips, I've sewn it all together, but it's a little bit big. So what we're gonna do is, if we just come over here,
Knitting liposuction.
oh God, we are going to take this out to an extent, or you can also just stitch it and then take it out on the inside and fold them over sort of in a vintage seam finishing way. Now, what we're gonna do is we are first going to pin in here what we need, and then we're going to stitch it on the sewing machine and test it out and see how it works.
Ow!
I didn't do anything! I didn't do anything! So I'm just pinning from the inside so that then when I flip it inside out, I'll have a straight line. But this allows me to see where I'm pinning and how much I can come in. So one thing to remember when pinning inside is you obviously are pinning to both sides. So allow yourself a little bit of leeway. You can always go back over and adjust it, but pin at the same time. Little bit off each. What I'm choosing to do is looking at the area where I've pinned here, and what I've got is several pins running up approximately 5-6 inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a taper point that's about an inch after my last pin, and I'm going to go from there out to the pin line and straight down. You may need to raise the foot up extra, just because fabric is hefty. So it's not going to come down much when you lower your foot. as you can see here, we've gone all over the existing line, which is here, and we've taken it in another inch, and I've done that on both sides. But what's really cool is how we can then just angle it. So it's kind of like a dart in the side, and then what we'll do is we'll cut this open back to the original seam, and you can either trim the excess, or if you're worried about weight fluctuations, or if you think the sweater will be handed down in your family, you can just pin it back, and if someone needs to take it out later, they can. But, sorry, I'm still getting over a cold. So, I've got 3 pins here, I've got 3 on the other side. I'm just gonna take it over to my sewing machine and stitch it up. This is when you're stitching in a little further. Can you do it with yarn? Yes. I also sometimes do it with a sewing machine. So here we have it newly and improved. How do you feel, Dad?
It's definitely a better fit.
Yeah, so we've come in on the sides here, and because of this seed stitching here, you really can't see it. Now, once we get the side sort of tacked in, it'll be really nice, but you don't necessarily have to, especially with these Fisherman sweaters. You really can just sort of leave it because they are supposed to be a looser knit. Now with more tailored knits, you're gonna wanna probably cut and or be a little bit more careful, but these can just sort of be left raw. I've got a few ends to weave in, and then new sweater, Dad.
It's amazing.
Woo!
Hello.
This is my dad. Say hi, Mom.
I'm in the frame?
You're in the frame.
Ah!